One of the most important things most people would ask, also, you know, or you'd ask yourself is that, what is the purpose of life? Well, the purpose of life is to live a simple and a happy living. So how do you do that? But that's something which is very, very challenging today because the kind of the, the trend that we are living in seems to be a very dynamic world, a world where you would not find time to rest because every other you know person grabs your opportunity which is in front of you, and that's the kind of world that we are living in today. So if that's the case, so what's the kind of life that we can live, and what is the purpose of a life that we can find for ourselves? But that's a big challenge today, right? So first of all, let me tell you, the current lifestyle that we are having is quite complex. It was not so unlike 20, 30, or 40 years ago, where people had very simple aspirations and simple style of living, or the simple ways of living, rather than what is the kind of condition that's existing today to lead a wonderful life. Well, be it whatever you can say, like like the improvement in terms of the access to information, the improvement of technology for better standards of living, where you have all kind of facilitation right from your daycare to education to banking to any other aspects in your day-to-day life. So that's the kind of lifestyle that we're gonna have these days. But earlier, we never had such systems. See, for example, even if you talk about a few years ago, that's so in 1980s, you can find that people had postal system where people were actually riding on bicycles or by foot to commute, and people did have simple simple what do you call food style. It could be just homely food like your typical South Indian or North Indian meal, or you know uh, your homely food which would be made on the occasions of festivals. Okay, and those were the kind of food style. Uh, those days, even when you actually had to go for a hotel or a restaurant, it was like quite rare. Either a family used to gather together occasionally and go to restaurants, and or you'd be on some travel sometime, and that's when you used to go to restaurants or hotel. And normally it was on a normal hotel rather than on a restaurant, rather than going to a restaurant. Okay, a typical middle class just only go for that particular thing. Okay, so that's the kind of lifestyle that we were leading during 1980s, or some years back or before. But now the lifestyle beyond 2000 has changed a lot. A decade put after 1990s, there was a transformation in lifestyle, though it remained the same for the past 5 years to 5, 6 to 7 years during the 1990s. But then, in a later part, when we had the advent of the MNCs that's coming into our country, that's when our lifestyle has changed. It's changed drastically over the last 15 to 17, 18 years, and that we can see that kind of trend that has developed nowadays is all about the partial lifestyle of the Westerners, what we can see today. And that's something which is quite alarming. You have loads of money, which your parents wouldn't have seen, and you don't know exactly what to do with that. You know that all that you need to do is to spend lavishly, or you want to have a grand lifestyle. Yes, all is fine. Which I'm not denying the fact that you want to go to a bar, a restaurant, or a pub. You want to go to mall for shopping. All these things are happening these days. But are we really leading a life that has some purpose? Well, you can see at the same time, a lot of people do have emptiness in their minds. That's emotional emptiness. The kind of work that we do today needs a lot of emotional intelligence. You need to cope up with the kind of pressure that's being set up because of the competitiveness, and hunt for talent creates a lot of venues for others to edge over your performance and move on. So that's kind of the work trend that we're seeing. Earlier it was not so. Most of the people used to hold government jobs, and you could be at your own pace and time, and you could be a wonderful person to be doing a job. If you're loyal and just, yes, you're a good employee. Even if you're not, then you're actually having a secured job at your expenses or at your will. But nowadays, it's purely about performance. If you're able to perform, that's when your job is safe, because you're actually working for a private sector, and then it's purely based on performance and your ability to cope up with the competitiveness. So likewise is also the trend in earning that started. Like when your parents only seeing thousands of rupees together, you start seeing lakhs of rupees together. Probably per year or in 6 months of time, and then you had hefty bank balances than your parent. And that's something which I'd say that you'd also have a kind of exposure into lifestyle where you exactly don't know what kind of spending that I should do, or how's the kind of saving that I should do, what kind of people I should mingle with, socialize with, because I have a upper social strata now, and that's the kind of thing that you may be thinking about, right? There's no harm in that, but at the end of the day, it's all about the actual purpose of life. The real purpose of life is to lead a good life. So what is good life then? A good life is about you living happy and making people around you live happily. And that is something which, as the old adage states, that live and let live. And that's the kind of policy, if you adopt, probably you're creating a wonderful world for your future generation. Because currently the trends at which that we are, leading our life seems to be quite alarming. The reason is very simple. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of people who don't know how to cope with their own emotion. There's a lot of people who don't know, how to avoid mental pressures, or people getting bored in their life around their middle age, or there's a breakup in a relationship where people are not able to understand each other. These are the trends that we're seeing. There's rift even in the employment. When you're actually working with your management, you don't know how to cope up with the expectations of management, because you already have emotional emptiness in you, and that's the kind of trend that we're seeing in today. So what should you do if you have to find a purpose in your life? The first and foremost thing is to understand yourself, who you are, what you are here for, why you exist in this world. The second thing is to know, what personality trait do I have? Am I sweet, a lovable person, or am I an aggressive person who has been hated by so many people? Or do I actually lie quite often and get away with things? Or am I a lazy person? Kind of different personality traits that you need to find in yourself. The next thing what you have to do is to once you analyze what you are, you need to find ways to mend yourself. if there are negative thoughts. Say, for example, if you're lying too often, try avoiding, get to know what is the cause of that, you always try to lie. And you very well know that lying is something which is quite not acceptable in this world, right? So you need to find out, why do I do that? Is it out of fear, or is it like, I avoid things, or things of that sort. If you get to know, you can find ways how to, dare yourself to tell the truth or accept things. Okay, and it goes well with any other negative emotion. Suppose if you're saying that, okay, you are quite angry all the time, you have a lot of temperament all the time. So what's that you could do? How can become someone like Dhoni, a calm, composed person? It's all about how you manage your emotion. You understand your own emotion, the root cause of the emotion, the root cause of your anger. Tells you the truth, or gives you the answer as to why you get angry quite often. And then find alternatives, like how could I actually, respond than to react. It's not about controlling your emotion, it's only about managing your emotion. Once you know how to manage your emotion, you automatically become an emotionally intellectual person. When that happens, that's when your brain starts activating in terms of learning. Okay, you shy away from your pessimism and see optimism in you. So naturally, your intellectual ability grows, and you can find a meaning and purpose in the existence or in the journey of your life. Okay, once that happens, you slowly begin to prosper. You will have consistency in terms of your earnings, in terms of your job, in terms of your relationship, and your very purpose of leading a life, and you would be liked and adored by everyone. And these are simple steps. If you try to do these things, I'm sure that you will be a successful person in your life. So that's about it for today. Thank you for watching. Do subscribe to my channel in the coming future. Thank you.